Hey, everybody.
That was a creepy hey.
Yes, it is. Hello, everybody.
That's worse.
It's Monday when this is getting published. I don't know when you're downloading it. If you're an early riser, if you want to get that worm, if you're that early bird, then this is Monday. If not, it's later in the week. It could be months later. I don't know. It's a podcast. But the point is, it's Sam and Cathy. That's the podcast. The companion podcast to Sam Roberts Show, of course. You can hear Cathy and I on Cathy and me, I guess it would be, every night, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, on Sam Roberts Show on Sirius XM. But we post this, an extra podcast, an extra show, every single week. So subscribe, rate, review on iTunes, do the whole deal. Hello, Cathy Kelley.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great.
Good.
How are you?
I'm great. You've been very, very busy.
Yeah.
Of course, you've been. Do you like the increased travel you've been doing? Because now you've taken multiple trips to Orlando and back and blah, blah, blah.
The funniest thing is my commute to Orlando is about what it would be for my commute down to tape certain shows in Los Angeles.
because it would take hours to get there.
Traffic.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's like almost nicer because like I don't have to actually drive and sit in the car and get frustrated.
And it's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Because before it'd be 3 or 4 hours and you've gotten 20 miles from where you started.
Exactly.
Now you're going all the way down from New York to Florida.
And I'm racking up the frequent flyer miles.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Not a bad deal.
Can't
Not
complain.
a bad deal. Yeah, I was thinking about it. I feel like for me, because you've got the two jobs, right? You're in WWE, you're at Sam Roberts Show.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds great to me because
It's a dream.
I know.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to do lame stuff, but I was trying to figure out like balance in my life. You know, last weekend, Jess and I went to Cape Cod for our anniversary.
And I know how much you love vacations.
I did the whole time. I was like battling with myself to just focus in the immediate and not stress out over literally nothing. Like I would think of things to possibly stress out. Oh, what if I stressed out about this? Yeah, that's something I could stress about.
Yeah. It's just funny, though, because you go on vacation and you go to a movie to see Popstar.
Right. Right. Well, I like movies.
I know. It's hilarious.
We saw Popstar and then we saw Money Monster. We saw 2 movies on one weekend. It wasn't even, we got to Cape Cod on Saturday.
You could have done that in Westchester.
We weren't in Westchester. We were in Cape Cod.
I know, but
So
you
we
could have
got
done
to-
that in
but-
Westchester.
You know, and that gets pointed out, but it was nighttime. What, are you going to go to the beach at Cape Cod at night?
No, but just
We went to late shows.
Yeah.
Like, we would have just hung out at the creepy bed and breakfast, which I talked about, by the way, on the Sirius show.
Yeah.
It was creepy. There was a note that had somebody else. It said, the note was from Janet and Robin, enjoy your stay. The woman's name who owned the bed and breakfast was not Janet or Robin. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. I think I was I realized after that I think I was in the haberdashery.
Was it a ghostwriter?
It was. I don't think it was Ghostwriter. I think they were under the floor. I think it was the haberdashery from Hateful Eight.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure what it was. I was so disappointed, by the way, that nobody went and saw Popstar.
Oh my gosh, I want to see it. Like,
It's good. You
the
better
only
see.
reason I haven't seen it is because you were in Cape Cod last weekend.
You didn't have any friends. You better see it because it's going to be out of theaters. Everybody just decided to abandon ship on that thing.
Why?
It bombed.
Well, it was good though, right?
It was. I thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
It's funny for a couple reasons. Number one,
It's just a bad weekend to debut.
no, it came in 8th place. It did bad for it.
Ugh.
You know, it wasn't the week. It was for some reason everybody decided not to see this movie. They went to
so
see
weird.
X-Men and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Honestly,
instead.
I don't think that it was well publicized at all.
I felt like it was promoted everywhere.
Oh, I didn't see it. I saw like a couple previews in theaters.
I saw it all over YouTube.
Mm.
Andy Samberg was doing all kinds of radio and stuff. I thought that it was. I couldn't even fault the promotion. I felt like people just decided they weren't going to go see this movie.
Maybe I'm like so in the WWE bubble right now that the only movie is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
Because Sheamus is in it. Right.
That, and I know that Marine 5 is filming somewhere.
Yeah, you're like, it needs to be better promoted. Like Marine 5. Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is. No, I get frustrated because, like, it was really, it was a funny movie and it was an original take. Like, and it was a parody layered several layers deep. When I first saw the trailer, I thought it was basically just going to be a parody of Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
And if it was just a parody of Justin Bieber, I'd be fine. Because the Justin Bieber movie, all the movies, remember when they had that trend for a little while where all the pop stars were getting documentaries that would be in theaters, like concert movies?
Yeah, they had like a One Direction.
Katy Perry. Yeah. And Justin Bieber was the biggest one.
Yeah.
Never Say Never, I think, was the name of the movie. And people came out of that thing going, I have this new respect for Justin Bieber. I had no idea he had worked so hard. I had no idea this. I had no idea that. Look, I understand. I guess he's talented. You know, he was gifted from a young age. But I watched the Never Say Never movie because I wanted to be like, okay, it changed opinions of people who I knew. Like people who would have goofed on Justin Bieber went to see this Never Say Never thing years ago and were like, you know what? I have a lot of respect for the kid after seeing that. So I watched it, and I was like, this is how the Nazis got them. This is propaganda. This is the biggest waste of time propaganda movie I've ever seen. At the end of the day, there is no hidden secret to Justin Bieber and how hard he worked. You know why? Because he started getting famous when he was, 15, 16? I don't care if you worked from the time you were born. That means you've only worked 15 years. Like you haven't been alive long enough that it is possible to tell a story that is going to inspire me, somebody who's 32 and struggling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it will never happen. So I knew going in, I said there has to be some kind of huge twist on this thing to convince me otherwise. Because if you get to be if you climb to the top of the mountain before you're 20, how much work could you have possibly done to get there? It's not possible if you ask me.
I mean, I feel like there are gymnasts, Olympians, like those type of people have definitely put in the hours. But for something entertainment, it's your parents. Like it's a stage mom or it's a manager or someone. Because you can't do those things on your own.
And there has to be a lot of luck involved. In those instances.
Oh, yeah.
I think you're right about the athletics.
There are a lot of talented people. It's just being in the right situation at the right time. I mean, like, there are a lot of hours and there are a lot of sacrifices. Like, you don't get to go be a normal kid and go to school.
I am so sick of hearing people that say, I didn't get to be a normal kid. I got to be a normal kid. I would have completely given it up.
Traded it in a heartbeat.
Yeah. You know, all I want to do is go to a normal school. Why? School is the worst.
Yeah.
Like, that's the big secret. School sucks.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
It's just a grass is greener situation, and it's a trying to make yourself seem more relatable.
Like these celebrities that go to college. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You don't need. Go back.
I think it's badass that Natalie Portman went to Harvard. Are you kidding me?
I'm not.
That's so cool.
I'm not impressed at all.
No, because when I was like in junior high, I was like, oh, all actors and actresses are dumb because they never went to college. And then I was like, oh, no, they're actually really smart because it's hard to be in this industry.
Yeah, but even if, the problem is, even if she didn't get help going there, like, I'm not impressed that Natalie Portman got into Harvard. You know, I'm sure.
Why not? It's a hard school to get into.
Honestly, I'm not impressed that anybody got into Harvard. I don't care. Like, I feel like that's where she decided to focus her energy, and that's fine or whatever. And I'm sure that the fact that Natalie Portman was able to pass some tests, write an essay, it was probably very convenient to have a celebrity on campus at Harvard. I'm sure that, like, it's not like she has to work especially hard to make her resume stand out.
Didn't Emma Watson go to Brown?
I think so, something like that. That's a good school, too.
Yeah.
But
not as good as Harvard.
Well, excuse me.
Just saying.
Where'd you go to school?
Neither of them.
Exactly. But, you know, like when you're applying to college, you're like, oh, how am I going to... I need to make sure my extracurriculars are all on point.
Yeah.
I got to make sure I have an essay that really says something about me. I'm going to go to this interview. Whereas, you know, Emma Watson, Natalie Portman could just write, like, in the essay portion... No, the Natalie Portman. Yeah. Like, as long as you can get decent, as long as you can pass these tests, you can get in. So I've never been impressed by that. I'm impressed when somebody can succeed in the entertainment industry, but not by a celebrity going to college. But But yeah, so I watched the Justin Bieber movie, and I realized, like, all these movies are just complete propaganda pieces. Like, they're just kind of half-fabricated storytelling that's put in because they want an audience to believe in this person. Because they're going, okay, now that they're becoming more famous than Jesus, we need to make sure that they stay relatable. So let's put this movie out, charge $13, for tickets, and people can see that, whoa, it's just because of all the hard work they put in, and it's not. And it's not. So I was so happy that Popstar was being made because somebody was pointing out the sheer ridiculousness of all those movies. The fact that they're even made is ridiculous,
Yeah.
Once you've hit that level, the fact that you now need a movie explaining to everybody how great you are, relax for a second.
I mean, I feel like in the past you would have gotten a biography, and now people have no attention span, so it's a movie.
Yeah, but they'll cash in and get a book too. They're not gonna skip out on that. They're just like, wait, we could do a movie too? And we could do a movie right now. We don't even need to find a ghostwriter. Perfect.
Well, that would be for an autobiography.
So who's writing the biography then?
A biography could be anyone.
Oh. Well, then, yeah,
I'm sure autobiography is when someone writes it themselves or pretends to write it themselves.
All right, Mensa. But I'm sure there could be plenty of unauthorized biographies. They would probably just want to be like, let's tell our story our way. But yeah, so I got psyched that there's going to be a parody made of this. And then not only did they parody that whole genre of film and the fact that it's being done, they parodied the life of pop stars. They parodied what's popular in hip-hop right now. I mean, everything. Like, the parody went 10 levels deep. It was actually way smarter than I thought it would be. Mm-hmm. There was a story to the movie. It was a pretty base story.
I think a lot of people expected it to be just a longer SNL sketch.
Right. And that's what a couple of the reviews said. But it wasn't. It was a full-out movie. And it was hilarious. And I also like the Lonely Island guys. I like seeing them put something together and everything.
Yeah.
But nobody went and saw the movie because everybody was out seeing the same X-Men movie that's been made 150 times and the Ninja Turtles remake. And what I don't understand with these, first of all, with a very, very select few exceptions, every superhero movie is fairly identical that's coming out now. Yeah. Deadpool aside. Take Deadpool out of the equation.
So good.
But I saw, like, Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
And Civil War is the same as every Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
And, I don't feel a strong need to see this new X-Men movie because it's probably going to be the same as every other X-Men movie.
The Spider-Man bit in Civil War. That was funny. It was different.
Just that Spider-Man was there, or
just like him being awkward.
But you know what?
The awkward kid.
This is another thing that I'm like, wait. Spider-Man's whole section in that movie was just a commercial for the new Spider-Man movie they're making.
I know. But it was funny. It was well done.
Right.
Like all
it
of
was
them coming
content.
Together.
Yeah.
Like I loved Ant-Man. Out of like I would say Deadpool's completely different than all of those movies, but like Ant-Man stood out to me.
I didn't even see that movie.
Oh, I liked it.
Yeah.
It had like equal parts comedy and like cool fight scenes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But my real problem is I feel like people are picking and choosing. The Ghostbusters remake has gotten, so much internet hatred because they're remaking it with women, But people are saying, no. It has nothing to do with women. It's not a misogynistic thing. It's not because of Melissa McCarthy and everybody. It's because it looks bad and you shouldn't be remaking Ghostbusters. That's what the argument is. Because nobody wants to admit that they're mad that they're doing it with women because it makes them sound bad.
Yeah.
But nobody's mad that they remade Ninja Turtles. Nobody sits there and goes like, "Oh, I loved Ninja Turtles when I was a kid."
Or that they're remaking Power Rangers. People are obsessed with that.
Right. They love that because they love it because they want to see it happen. But for some reason, this Ghostbusters thing. Do you think that all the Ghostbusters flack that's taking is strictly a female thing?
I mean, I think that the internet a lot of the times just loves to hate on certain things.
Just to chooses a target.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it becomes like a popular thing to hate almost.
Yeah. Because I also, I don't think remakes to me are dumb. Like, I don't think that they're the most original things in the world by definition. I think that we've figured out a formula. Hollywood's figured out a formula, whoever's figured out a formula, to remake these movies. Because, look, film technology is so much better now than it used to be. When Jurassic Park came out, it was looked at as this, masterpiece of modern cinema. People could not believe that they got these dinosaurs to look so real. And now it looks like
crap.
Right. It might as well be puppets. It looks like a Jim Henson thing.
Yeah.
And by the way, I went to see the original Ghostbusters maybe a year ago or so at Alamo.
Okay.
And I saw it in the theater.
Yeah.
And it really looks cool with puppets. When they were using like puppets and real sets, even though the scope was always much smaller, it looked cool. And it felt real, and there was something tangible to it. Whereas even now with all the CGI, it looks like a cartoon. Like you can never fully be in that space the way you could when it was puppets and sets and things like that. But I really think
it's harder for the actors too
with the CGI
to act against a green screen or
it must be. But you would think that there would be some. I just feel like I felt before like good ideas were not really rewarded because Hollywood stopped looking for ideas because the film industry changed and it became tougher to get a movie out there. Because entertainment is just different.
Yeah.
And so now they're going on sure things, superhero movies, action remakes, stuff like that. Stuff that's already got an audience. That's what we want to make. And I go, this is ridiculous. You got to give people chances to create. That's what film is supposed to be about, creating new things and new ideas and stuff. And then Popstar comes out and nobody goes to see it.
Yeah.
I go, maybe I'm the stupid one because maybe the audience is speaking. We want X-Men and Ninja Turtles.
I think studios, they don't necessarily... There are, like, indie movies that have wild success. But for the most part, like, Whiplash killed it at the box office more so than they thought it would.
By the way, did you see how fucking jacked the dude from Whiplash is, J.K. Simmons?
No.
There was a picture that came out, and he has, like, a Santa Claus beard, a bald head, and bodybuilder arms.
Oh my gosh.
He looks like he was Schillinger in Oz. And he looks like a disgustingly frightening inmate.
So funny. So I've interviewed him a couple times on the red carpets and I've always been like the first time I saw him, I was scared to interview him because I was like intimidated by how like he just has this presence of like he's very successful, whatever. Comes over.
Look, I mean, he was able to
really, really nice dude.
He was able to pull off Nazi pretty convincingly on Oz, and it takes a special kind of person to be able to pull off Nazi.
Yeah.
But he's a super nice guy.
Yeah, like when he actually like starts talking to you, he's just like he's very funny and chill.
I have no idea why he's getting so jacked, but it's
probably some role.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
But, it's like subhuman. It's a different species.
Yeah.
The way he looks.
Or just got into CrossFit recently.
Maybe that's what it was.
I don't know.
Yeah, but what was it talking about? Yeah, I feel like maybe I'm wrong.
No, I think that studios nowadays, and that's where you have to realize it's an industry. They are businesses. They're trying to make money. So that's why they are producing things that they know or are hoping are sure bets.
You're right. But there has to be this thing where what's good for business is long-term business is creativity. There needs to be some creativity put into this thing for long-term success. You need to create new franchises. You can't just decide, okay, we can make quicker profits now if we just keep doing the same thing.
But you also realize that the industry goes in waves, and I think, as creative as the industry is, they're not very creative. Like in a lot of people in the industry, like the executives, need to see something and see it successful before they actually believe it, as opposed to just hearing, oh, this is my idea, I think it could be great. They need to see it in action, like a Deadpool, to realize the potential that they have. And that's why, you see on TV, it's more prevalent of like, it goes in waves of, oh, there's a successful zombie show, Walking Dead. Let's create 6 more zombie shows.
Oh, I know.
And you'll see that. Like, there's a vampire movie. Let's do 6 more vampire movies. Or, like, now we're in the age where it's, like, all about Marvel and DC movies. And TV shows. Like, you cannot escape it. Netflix has them, like, everywhere. Like, they're all over the place. So I think that this is just a phase. And, the phases go in, like, 5 to 10 year spans. It's not a phase of, like, a couple months.
I honestly pray that Joel Schumacher will start making superhero movies again, just so he can kill the genre again. Like, because Joel Schumacher did the last 2 Batman movies, Batman and Robin and Batman Forever. And to say that they were hunks of garbage would be kind. Like, they were that's the one where Arnold Schwarzenegger is Mr. Freeze. And he comes in, he breaks in the room, and he holds up his ice gun, and he goes, chill. And he's shooting the thing. It was like the worst things ever. But that's what I want. I need somebody to inject some serious cheese into these superhero movies just so it'll turn people against them.
I mean, I think it's one of those things where now we're at the beginning of the superhero phase. Like, Spider-Man did really well. Like, all these movies did really well. And so that's why the studios wanted to capitalize on them. And you have to realize that, like, superhero movies, because there's a lot of effects, there's a lot of planning that goes into them. Like, the studio doesn't just, like, say, oh, we want to do this, and it's out a year later. This is in pre-production for a year, then they're shooting for 3 to 5 months, then it's in post for a year.
Did you see the insane calendars that Marvel and DC both put out?
Yeah, like, I mean, Star Wars is mapped out for the next however long.
That drives me crazy too.
Yeah, but
it's too many.
I agreed with that at first. Like, I did not want, when they originally Disney announced that they were going to do more, I was not on board. I was the first one to see the movie. I was there a week before it came out. Like, I loved it.
Well, I don't mind them doing more. Like, I don't mind them doing 3 more.
Yeah.
I mind them doing a Star Wars movie every single year.
Yeah.
That's where it's like we got another Star Wars movie coming out, but it's not technically Star Wars, but it's in the Star Wars universe, and everything just gets so confusing.
They're just trying to make more money, and I get it. Like, they put a lot of money into it, so they want to get a lot of money out.
Yeah, but when it becomes a money grab, wouldn't you think that there is potential? Maybe it'll just never happen. Maybe nobody ever smartens up, and they just like to keep eating the same thing over and over and over and over again. I just feel like there's at some point people are going to smarten up and be like, enough.
They are really smart though, like with Star Wars, to bring J.J. Abrams on because he's a fan. So I think that he can carry on it in a successful way. And that's what, the studios should target, of like with DC and Marvel movies, they should bring in new perspectives of, people who are fans who can have a different take on it.
How about if they have a fan do it every 2 or 3 years instead of every 6 months?
Yeah.
How's that for fresh and new?
At the same time, then you could argue there are going to be people being like, oh, well, like, I don't have a new movie to go see this weekend. Like,
there's plenty of movies.
I know, but like,
figure it out. I mean,
I like choices. I hate when, people are so negative, like, towards the Ghostbusters movie. It hasn't come out yet. Why be that negative? Like, also, if it's a movie that you don't want to see, just don't go see it. Like, why do you have to turn other people against it, or like create all this hatred towards it online when it hasn't even come out yet? Like, that puts unnecessary pressure on the movie.
See, I think that if you don't like the Ghostbusters remake, then you can't like all these Star Wars movies, all these superhero movies, Ninja Turtle remakes. It's all the same thing. It's all exactly the same thing. And that would be because the reason I don't like all the remakes, all the superhero movies, all the Star Wars movies is it's one idea that just gets stretched so thin. And there is a finite amount of real estate at box office. It's not just we're adding another choice for this movie. It's studios saying there's a finite budget for the year. This is what we're going to invest in. So if you're saying that kind of as a general thing and not, I'm not going to sit here and boycott every single Star Wars superhero, whatever. I'll see some of them. But I think that to just boycott Ghostbusters.
Yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed 21 Jump Street. Like, that was a great remake to me.
But it wasn't even, it was,
It's not an original idea, but it's definitely in the same, like,
it was almost and it was a complete, like, I mean, they entered into a completely different genre.
Yeah.
Now, but I also think that these things exist on their own. This idea that a Ghostbusters remake will kill the original two movies.
It won't, ever.
It's absurd.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. That they won't affect them at all. At all. And I don't think it matters what you call the remake, what you do, any of that. How I heard, speaking of Ghostbusters, I heard something disturbing.
What?
You don't know what ecto cooler is.
Oh, did you hear that from Corey?
I don't know. Yeah.
No, so that was I was just being nervous and awkward like I normally am, and like he put me on the spot and he asked me that, and
Corey Graves told me you don't know what ecto cooler is.
No, that was I'm explaining it right now. Is like he put me on the spot and I was like being awkward and nervous. I was like, I don't know what that is, but and, like I was being weird.
How is that? You know what it is?
Yeah. I've watched Ghostbusters before. I'm not an idiot.
But you said you don't know what it is because you were being nervous and weird?
Yeah. Like, it was just like, it was a quick thing. Like, it was just like, it was a very, like, it was a quick conversation where we were all talking about, like, Ghostbusters, and he was, like, given this, like, whatever. So.
His ecto cooler.
Yeah. It, like, showed up at his doorstep, got a package. Yeah. That was just me being dumb.
So what do you panic and say, like, well, no is the answer that will end the conversation quickest?
No, I was just like, it was mentioned and I was like laughing at the joke. And then like he said, he's just like, do you even know what that is? Or are you too young? And I was just like, is what? And he goes, ecto-cooler. I was like, no. But like,
you're
also
like the worst improver of all time. Look, Cathy, I have a toaster. It's not a toaster. Okay.
I am like, I didn't watch Ghostbusters as a kid. I watched it years after it came out.
Why?
Because I was too young to watch it as a kid.
Oh, well, how old were you when you watched it?
I think I was like 20.
Why did you watch Ghostbusters when you were 20?
Because it had already come out and it was like past.
Yeah, but I never watched kids like old, like, oh, I missed this when I was a kid. I should watch it now.
It must have been on like a Netflix or something, or it was on TV and I just wanted to see it.
You mean the movie?
Yeah, the movie.
Not the cartoon?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought
the movie with like Dan Aykroyd.
Okay.
And, yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Of course you watch that when you're 20. I thought you meant like you watched the cartoon show.
No.
The Real Ghostbusters. The Real Ghostbusters.
I actually remember the night that I watched it.
That I'm okay with.
Yeah.
But there was a whole cartoon show.
Yeah.
Yeah. With action figures and the whole deal.
Yeah, and I was too young for that.
You were also too young for the Micro Machines guy that talked really fast?
I don't know what that is.
You don't know who the Micro Machines guy?
No.
I sent you a photo of him after Corey Graves told me that you didn't know who he was, and you did not even acknowledge the text.
Because I
you moved on to the next
know
thing.
What it was.
You're like, I don't know why you're sending me a picture of this guy with a mustache.
Why is this old fart sending me dumb shit?
Yeah. Sorry, 30-pluses. I don't know what you guys are talking about right now.
You realize that like 5 years is a huge age gap when you're young. So like, I grew up watching like Recess and what other Saturday, like Power Rangers was still on.
Mm-hmm.
It was like towards the end of Ninja Turtles being like a cartoon.
Why do you suppose that now we're at this point, like this generation and the generations below it can't let go of their childhood nonsense? You didn't really, like my dad wasn't sitting there being like, I wish they'd make a Howdy Doody movie.
Really nostalgic.
Yeah, like other people were able to let go of their childhood stuff, whereas all of us now, it's cool. Like, I'm not weird for collecting action figures.
Because BuzzFeed's around.
Is that it?
Top 10 things you missed from the 90s.
It's like, I haven't had a chance to miss it. It's around all the time.
Yeah.
Saved by the Bell, the whole deal. Why is it everything, all the shows are getting, like, rebooted on Netflix, Full House and everything? I'm sure Boy Meets World got a reboot on, what's it called, Disney Channel?
It's because if they can make something that already has a built-in audience and it's not going to be super expensive, why not?
Because it takes away from making new things and it influences people to just be inspired. This is what happens. This is why you end up with people.
We're the plagiarism generation.
We are. This is why you end up with like actors that are acting like actors and like you're mimicking the things you grew up with instead of actually being that thing.
And people who can't actually caption their own photos on Instagram, they just use Drake quotes.
Right. Right. But why do you suppose that is? Why are we now, our parents' generation, they weren't sitting there going, oh, we want the stuff that we had when we were kids. We want that made into a movie. We need that rebooted. We want the DVD set of it. We won't stop watching it.
I would argue that, like, my mom is really into, like, the music that she listened to when she was a kid.
I think music's different.
Yeah.
Music's, and it's not like she's into the music that she listened to when she was 7.
And maybe the movies in that time period were just not as good.
As Saved by the Bell? Yeah, you're right. They weren't as good as the original Ninja Turtles movies.
Well, it's one of those things where, like, when you watch a movie when you're young, you have this idea about it, and usually you don't watch it again when you're older.
You're not supposed to.
Like, I remember watching Sandlot again,
right.
And it's like, it's a movie that you quote and you remember every single line to because you watched it 50 times when you were 10 years old or whatever it is. And now watching it again, like, the dog that was so terrifying, I was like, wait, really?
Just a dog.
Yeah. Like, there's nothing scary about that at all.
Beethoven
that
is a scarier dog.
Real.
Yeah. It didn't even look like a dog's paw. Yeah. It's a stuffed thing with a broomstick on the other end.
When they have, like, the flashlight holding it below his chin and he's like, forever. That was the scariest moment.
Uh-huh.
Not that scary.
It's not that scary at all. And I think that, and maybe it's because we just have more access to it. Because we didn't live in a time where home video wasn't possible. And now it's even more possible because YouTube, like the idea of something not existing anymore is not conceivable to us. When our parents were growing up, it was like it would be on TV and then it wasn't on TV anymore. Whereas now for us and people younger than us,
it's all cataloged.
Yeah, the idea of even watching when you tell us to watch is like, no, what?
Yeah.
Watch whenever. It's on Hulu.
Yeah.
Like we can watch it whenever we want to. What do you mean what time and channel? How about whatever time and channel I feel like? Maybe it's because everything is accessible. The idea of Saved by the Bell. Saved by the Bell is not just a show that was on when you were a kid and then you have to let it go. You can now take it with you on a box set, you know? And you actually do that. But when people won't let go, and I mean, I should talk. Mister, I've been watching wrestling for 32 years. But when people won't let go of that stuff, it does, I think, kind of stunt them creatively. When you have people now that are trying to write this generation's Goonies, this generation's Sandlot, this generation's whatever. And when they wrote The Sandlot, it wasn't that generation's anything. When they wrote The Goonies, it wasn't that generation's anything. It was like, we just have this great idea for a movie. Let's get it working on it.
How many TV shows have tried to be this new Friends?
Yeah.
Generation of Friends. Or
And it's really...
Incarnation, I guess.
It's really weird because I get worried, and I think that the reboot, remake, re-release culture lends itself to creatively just trying to recreate what you had when you were a kid. And you get mad when it's not recreated properly.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. I'm allergic to nonsense. You get mad.
Oh, no.
You get mad, and so now it's like, you act like, oh, this Ghostbusters thing. That's not what it was when we were kids. Now I'm mad. But this thing, this Power Rangers, oh, I'm anxious to see what they do with it.
Yeah.
Whereas Just do something brand new. And Power Rangers isn't even a great example of that, because Power Rangers was a Japanese show that they just added cut-ins with American kids at a bad restaurant set. You know? I don't know what it is. I worry, though. It concerns me because I feel like people are just spending so much time trying to recreate this, redo this, be this generation's that it ends up where there's not a lot of original thought that's pouring out. It's all kind of mimicking something else.
Yeah. But then I think when you do have a movie that is original, it does get, like, due credit.
Like what?
I mean, looking back, like, Mean Girls, 40-Year-Old Virgin, like, there are a ton of movies over the past 10 years that, like, were good, like, incredible.
Yeah.
And, like, are standouts.
I can't think of any in the last 5.
In the last 5?
Years.
Bridesmaids. I mean, I'm put on the spot right now.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like there are. Like, Deadpool was great. And that's, even though it was in the superhero whatever, like, that was different than, like, that was someone being like, okay, I'm going to take something and, like, make it completely different than what.
I don't think you'll be able to watch
before.
Deadpool in 10 or 12 years. I think that, like, when you turn on Michael Keaton as Batman from 1989 or whenever that movie came out, that movie is still as dope now as it was then.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mean Girls still is cool.
Mean Girls is a great exception. And I don't know what happened to Tina Fey.
Wedding Crashers. Awesome.
Wedding Crashers?
Yeah.
With Owen Wilson?
Yeah. It's a good movie.
I mean, I guess
Watch
so.
it whenever it's on TBS or whatever.
Wedding Crashers is not this timeless classic, though.
I mean, it's a comedy classic.
I have never heard anybody put Wedding Crashers in this sentence.
I liked it.
That is the most bizarre thing I've ever heard. I could see Old School, maybe even Step Brothers.
I mean, this is way more than 10 years ago, but Forrest Gump. A good one.
Yeah, Forrest Gump is good. I mean, horrendously unbelievable when you really start to watch it, but
yeah.
But I guess decent. That was 93.
I knew funny things every time. Yeah.
Funny little lines from Forrest.
One of my favorite movies, Italian Job. It's a good one.
The remake?
Yeah, the remake.
Mark Wahlberg's Italian Job is one of your favorite movies?
Well, not like one of my favorite movies, but
that's
I
literally
thought
what you just said.
It was cool.
I guess it was cool, but it's like
I like those movies where, like, there's twists and stuff.
Right. You like Law and Order SVU?
Duh. Who doesn't?
Let me tell you about Law and Order SVU. Anybody that liked twists?
Dun, dun, da, 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 da.
Because I love a twist.
Dun, dun, da, 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 da.
Bow, 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 bow. I love a twist. Because I will watch SVU. I'll sit there. Jess was she was taking a day off work or working from home or something like that, and she got to see what my routine is.
Yeah.
Which is like wake up at noon. Start putting stuff together, get the computer out, turn the TV on.
She's like, wow, I am just so impressed by my husband.
She was. She couldn't believe my unbelievable work ethic. But I was like, Jess, the first choice of the day is, will I watch the episode of Law & Order SVU on USA, or will I turn one on Hulu? I said, because USA has a marathon. I love when USA does that. USA is the only network that will ever do anything like this. I was watching a Law & Order SVU marathon. It was like a Wednesday. And they had a commercial for the Law & Order SVU marathon coming up on Saturday. Like every other day, it's a Law & Order SVU marathon.
Oh, my gosh.
And so I'll leave that on for hours.
Yeah.
And then if there's an episode I've already seen or I don't like, I'll turn Hulu on. But Law & Order SVU, whereas most shows at Max will have 2 twists, there are like 4 or 5 twists on that show every single episode. It does not get enough credit. Every commercial break, there's a twist. You cannot call that show until like 45 minutes in. First half hour, there is no way. I don't care how good you are. You can tell me what's going to happen, what the ending is going to be of the episode.
It'll be like, oh, well, like this one clearly committed this crime. And it'll be like, no, actually, it was its identical twin. But the identical twin something went wrong with the circumcision when it was born,
Yeah.
and it's actually a transgendered girl now, so that's why it was so confusing.
Right. It says here she had a daughter.
Like,
well, let's find the daughter. Oh, the daughter's in New Jersey. Commercial break. Oh my God, there's a twist. The daughter's in New Jersey. Come back. They go to Jersey. The daughter hasn't been here in months. Oh my God, where's the daughter? The daughter? Well, you've already met her. What? Commercial break. What do you mean they've already met the daughter? The daughter is the son. I can't believe it. And it just goes on. And then they have the Scooby-Doo ending all the time. And I would have gotten away with it, too, if it wasn't for you pesky Detective Muntz. If it wasn't for you, Richard Belzer, I would have gotten away with it. And Richard Belzer, it was so weird watching that show in the beginning. Like, why would they need, like, it was like, here's the pitch. Richard Belzer is going to be a detective that just believes every conspiracy theory ever. Like, what? Why? It adds nothing to the show whatsoever. Yeah, but we need a full-bodied detective unit.
See, now I'm thinking about movies that I loved, and I'm like, they're all from early 2000s, like the She's All That's and those kind of movies.
And by the way, it would be like they'd make one. There's one of all those like genres. I feel like there's one movie. She's All That might be the one.
10 Things I Hate About You. And
then there's a whole bunch of copies of it. You know, well, first of all, I think what you're doing is
Drive Me Crazy. That was a good one.
Drive Me Crazy. Is that
was Melissa Joan Hart, I think.
That was a terrible movie.
No.
Yeah. No, you're right. It had the Britney Spears song in it, and it had the guy from Entourage in it.
Yeah.
Vinny Chase.
Yeah,
that was before he did Aquaman.
That was good.
No, it was not a good movie.
I liked it.
But it was bad. But,
awesome.
But, you know what you're doing? You're just naming all the movies that were out when you were in high school.
Well, yeah, because they were great.
Exactly. Was the music great when you were in high school, too?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, wow. Isn't that interesting? Do you worry about that you're going to get to that place where you're doing what you're doing right now, which is just think about, what movies do I like? Oh, all the ones that came out when I was in high school were the best ones. Because that's literally what happens to every person.
Well, no, I named a bunch, but you said that they all sucked.
They did suck.
Recently.
They did suck. Which ones recently?
I mean, I guess Mean Girls. Bridesmaids.
Oh, yeah.
Wedding Crashers.
I didn't say... Wedding Crashers is not a great movie. But Bridesmaids and Mean Girls are good.
I mean, I think that after college, I kind of shifted more into watching TV than movies. So... I still, I can watch any episode of Arrested Development first, 2.5 seasons.
Yeah.
And still find that funny.
You did not like the Netflix season?
No.
At all?
No.
Yeah, wasn't that
I watched it, but it was not good.
The problem with and that's what happens when you have to reboot everything. You can't just let it lie.
I appreciate that they tried to, because I do think that Arrested Development, was left hanging.
It was.
It was one of those shows that, I wish Netflix was around when Fox canceled it.
But it's like time passed.
Yeah.
And you have to sometimes understand that time has passed. Because the problem, the Netflix thing, they were like, we're going to do it. They had every reason not to do it. And they said, we're just going to do it anyway. They couldn't get the cast all together.
Yeah.
So they had to do some mangled storytelling for the whole season.
I mean, do you know how much money they would make if they could do a Friends reunion? If Jennifer Aniston would actually do it?
But see, this is the problem. It's all about how much money they can make. There's no sort of, and I
think that would be better than a Full House reboot. You know,
that's because when you grew up, it was Friends.
No, I watched Full House too.
Yeah, but you were too young.
No,
I know when Full House came out.
I still watched it.
You watched it, but you watched it from a different lens. Friends was the show that you watched at the age that those shows...
No, I was too young for Friends, and I went back and I watched it later.
You did?
Yeah.
I hated Friends every episode.
Well, you hate a lot of good things.
Like what?
I don't know. You're a curmudgeon.
I'm not a curmudgeon.
Yes, you are.
I love a lot of great things.
You are such a curmudgeon.
What makes you say this? Because I don't like Friends? Friends is
because
dumb.
You hate a lot of stuff.
I have opinions about things. I like a lot of things, and I don't like a lot of things, and I'm happy to share them.
You hate Fun.
The band?
No. Well, do you? I don't know.
No, but Fun's okay. Carry on.
Yeah.
Well, I don't hate Fun. I love having fun.
You hate most foods.
I hate some
vacations.
I hate some food.
Other people having fun.
You don't like fun. You don't like vacations.
I love fun.
You work more than I do.
What?
You couldn't even have fun because I was away. You just locked yourself in your apartment.
That's because
I don't want to make new friends.
That's because I say awkward shit like that. I don't know what.
It doesn't make any sense. You can't even function around people. I can at least vocalize my opinion about things. They go like, "Hey, Cathy, you know what this is?" No, let me back in my cage.
Exactly.
Let me go. Let me sit in the dark by myself.
I want to have fun, but no one wants to hang out with me. That's the problem.
You don't know how to have fun.
I know.
You get too awkward about it and nervous. What are you nervous about?
That's why I do so much stuff by myself.
What do you do by yourself? Jigsaw puzzles.
Like a lot of stuff.
Like what?
I don't know.
Laundry and jigsaw puzzles. It's not that big. Not that tough to figure out.
A lot of like TV by myself.
That's not doing anything.
Eat by myself. I mean, in LA, like I used to have to go to wrestling shows by myself because none of my friends liked it.
You're judging me. I'm going by myself. It's too much pressure to be around people. Yeah. Don't tell me I'm a curmudgeon, you fucking hermit.
What friends? Other than you, because you're such a curmudgeon.
I don't understand. Everybody wants to have a good time. I can't take it. I can't do it. I can be in an environment with people. Okay?
What?
I can.
You hate parties. You've said so many times that you just go and you stand in a corner and you wait to go home.
But I talk to people.
Do you?
I have a very great opinion. Look.
I can talk to people. I'm just going to say stupid stuff.
Exactly. And guess what happened? The guy that you said you don't know what ecto cooler is, even though you do, me and him had a laugh about it. You know why? Because I am a great communicator. I can talk to people.
You can make fun of people.
I do make fun of people. Yeah. Because it's funny when they do funny things.
Mean-spirited.
You think so?
Only when it's at my expense.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that if we go back into the office, we'll be able to make... I know that's the best, though, but we'll be able to make fun of other people.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah, can we just, like, not make fun of me anymore? Like, who's someone that we can... Adrian.
Hey, wait, Adrian, get in here.
We can make fun of him when he's not in here.
Yeah. I can't believe that you were too awkward at this point in your life that you had to say, no, I don't know what ecto cooler is.
Oh, that's never gone away from me.
What do we got to do?
Like, it's just one of those things, like, in situations, like, I feel it's because I'm in my head, like, I just feel, like, judged by everyone. And so, like, I want to, like, seem cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that sometimes. But you have to get to the point where you realize nobody cares. Nobody's judging you.
But they are.
Nobody cares. Because Twitter's judging you. Twitter's judging everybody. I mean, Twitter. That's not real life. You know? I mean, like your peer. Go out. They're going to... If they're judging you, they're going to judge you no matter what. And the odds are they're probably not putting that much thought into what you're saying.
Honestly, I think it's because... This sounds really weird. I feel like I am very... Like, I'm hyper aware of social cues.
Mm-hmm.
So... I know when someone's like, what did that person just say?
Mm-hmm.
And then I get super, like, I'm like, oh, I saw that side-eye. Like, I know, like, that was supposed to be not seen by anyone, but I saw it.
You get side-eyed a lot?
No, but I'm saying in, like, certain situations, like, I'm giving an example of, like, if that happens.
But don't you think you're a generally likable person?
Yeah, but then there are always people that are going to hate you.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that, like... You have to get nervous and say you don't know what ecto cooler is.
Well, that wasn't the example I was giving. But, I don't know. I just want to fit in and I don't.
What do you want to fit in for? You know who fits in?
Who?
A bunch of dorks. What do you want to be? You know who wanted to fit in?
What? Who?
Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. Why do you go to these parties? Because I want to fit in. You know what else he did? He killed a homeless man for no apparent reason, and he tried to feed a kitten to an ATM. Those are the people who want to fit in.
Honestly, I just feel like right now, like in that situation, it's like kid, new school,
right?
First day, got my fresh backpack, like really excited.
And somebody goes, Cathy, nobody wears that backpack anymore.
Exactly. Like, it's just like, it's one of those things that like, I just want to be cool.
Oh, I know. I don't like it either.
Like moving to the East Coast, you have to understand.
Mm-hmm.
I know you and your wife Jess.
Yeah, but
and like those are my only friends here. And then all of my other friends are on the other freaking side of the country. Like I can FaceTime them, but like who else am I hanging out with? And so
who
like
are you hanging out with over there? You were just working all the time.
I want to be I want to be social. Like I want to have friends and
you
like
weren't
other
being
people
social
I can
in
talk
the
to.
When were you being social on the West Coast?
I had my like close group of friends that I hung out with.
Sometimes.
No, I hung out with them a lot. Like I would text them every day. I would see them a couple times a week. Like when I wasn't super busy with work. And like, yeah.
Here's what you don't understand. I'm like the dupest dude. I'm the dupest dode there is.
The dopiest?
Yeah.
Dopiest dude.
Look, I'm super dope. So, what? So, you don't have to worry about, like, it's quality over quantity here, lady. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But do you think, like, is your mission to, like, here's how I'm going to make friends at work? I'm going to pretend I don't know what Ecto Cooler is.
Oh, no.
What's wrong? What are you feeling right now?
I just wish that, like, my life had a rewind button sometimes.
Yeah?
You know?
Yeah. Well, look, here's what you could do.
Like, I would honestly rewind back to, like...
When you said that you didn't know what Ecto Cooler was?
No, I was thinking, like, freshman year of high school. I was going way back. Like, if I could redo high school, oh my gosh, I would be so cool.
You would think? Would you do it though?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I would convince my mom that I could drop out when I was 16 so I could go to LA. And I would just kill it.
Yeah. Yeah, most of the time when 16-year-olds start in show business, they do awesome.
Well, it's one of those things where, like,
you're special?
I would have the knowledge of, like, what I have now.
This is what I think about sometimes. I think about that in terms of, like, when you get married, like, you get married confidence with women that you could just talk to whoever.
Because you think that women like guys that are married.
Women do like
That's not always the case.
First of all, we can talk about that. We don't have time to really get into that because you're wrong about that. Of course women like guys that are married. But
homewreckers like guys that are married.
Most women find an attraction to guys that are married because they look at them as like husband potential. And whether they act on it or not is what makes them a homewrecker. But married confidence is the ability to talk to any woman, convince yourself that they probably are interested in sleeping with you because, and here's why you're able to do that. It's never going to happen.
Married confidence also just sounds like delusional.
It is delusional.
Dude.
Because what happens is if you decide to act on that and like leave your wife, then you find out that married confidence is totally fake.
What's that movie? It's like not The Vacation, the Hall Pass.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it's like, oh yeah, get this hall pass, and then nothing comes of it.
Right, but guess what? Your wife won't have a problem.
Yeah.
Like that's not going to be an issue at all. So like, I wish that's what I go. Okay, like yeah, if I could go back to high school, I'd have this kind of confidence, and I'd be able to act on it. But the reality would be like, no, I'd be no more successful. I'd be the same dude. You know, I'd just be a little doofus running around. And it is what it is. But I would say if you could get one of those rewinders, you should rewind back to when you said you didn't know what Ecto Cooler was. That makes no sense.
I know.
It's stupid.
God, there's so many things I would rewind.
That is a good place to start. You know it's a drink, right?
Yeah.
High C makes it.
Well, yeah.
You knew that?
Yeah.
Because I heard you didn't know.
No, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Because you said you didn't.
Yeah, I did say I didn't. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, no, that's what you said.
Yeah, in front of a table full of people.
Right, that you were trying to earn their respect.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that because you know what you could do now?
What?
It's like rewinding it. You can go up to
hide under a table, just hope that I die there.
Right. Yeah. Try to suffocate yourself with your pillow.
That's like my initial reaction.
No, go to the people, your peers, because they are your peers, and you go to your peers and you say, "Look, isn't it funny how awkward I was when I said I didn't know what Ecto Cooler was? Sam destroyed me on the podcast about it this week." And then we all laugh, ha ha, I remember that, blah, blah, blah. And now we've entered into a social interaction. And now we can hopefully branch off of that and move on, and you don't have to be awkward anymore. Just do it without being awkward. Right? Maybe get out of your head and follow some instincts. What do we think?
Yeah, I'll try that.
How do you think you're going to do?
Like, hey guys, how's your week? Okay, cool, bye.
We didn't answer. Yeah, okay, bye. Yeah. Cathy, did you end up taping the podcast with Sam? No. It's online. Yeah. Bye. Poor Cathy.
They'll be like, hey, how are you? Oh,
no.
You?
Yeah.
You too?
Adrian, you made it before the bell this time.
Just barely.
Oh.
I got like 2 minutes?
Yeah. Cathy's been being put through the ringer on this one. You would have liked it.
For what?
Not knowing what ecto-cooler was.
But I do. I do.
She got awkward in front of her peers and pretended not to know what ecto-cooler was, so the conversation would end.
Because people that I care like about their opinion, it's different. But like when Adrian comes in and he's judging, I'm like, I don't care what he thinks. I can just be myself, you know?
I get that. How does that make you feel, Adrian?
I mean, I'm kind of whatever.
Yeah, it's fine, right?
I'm good.
Wouldn't it be nicer if mentally, because I get that, I think a lot of people work that way. It should be the reverse. You know, if you cared about what people thought, but you could act like you didn't, and you could use that, because your brain is better around people who you don't care what they think.
So in my mind, it's one of those things. Oh, completely. Yeah. But like in my mind, it's one of those things where like when I respect someone or when I look up to them or I want to be friends with them or get to know them, I become really awkward and I'll maybe say hi or I'll like, in my mind, not talk to them, not look at them, whatever, because I don't know.
This is what I was worried about.
What?
Your increasing level of comfortableness. Comfort, I guess is what the word. No, comfort would be the word.
Increasing level, yeah.
Yeah. Your increasing level of comfort with me is symbolic of your level of respect going down. As you become more comfortable with me, you become less respectful of me, I think. Like, what's happening is I feel like every interaction we have, you're going further and further behind the curtain, and you're realizing there's just a shell of a person here. There is nothing to look up to.
Yeah, like the first time I was like, oh, I love your wrestling podcast, could barely talk.
Right.
And then
I got to get back to that, Cathy.
I'm still very uncomfortable around you.
You are?
Yes.
Good. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm always on my toes.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I was having a conversation with Troy recently about how, like, because he goes, like, you know, sometimes on the air, you just insult Adrian out of nowhere. Like, you just attack. And I go, yeah, well, that's what I'm feeling at the time.
Yeah.
And I think it's good that he stays on his toes. There should never be a time where he goes, I am in the clear.
Well, if I'm comfortable, then I'm just...
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're also, I mean, a very creative person because you've had to come up with new insults, seeing as he doesn't have meaty thighs anymore.
That's a shame.
That's right.
Yeah.
There are other things, like he's now eating normal sometimes.
Right. If I want to vent my frustrations, the worst thing he's doing for me is correcting problems. You know what I mean? Like when he corrects misbehavior, I'm like, fuck, well, no, he hasn't corrected that one yet.
Yeah.
So in a way, I'm making you better.
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's taking a
I'm
real
forcing
leap.
you to get more creative.
I'll tell you this, what you haven't done is kept your ego in check. There's a problem.
I was going to say he's always creative. You're just one of his many outlets.
Right. There we go.
I'll be your outlet.
Oh, no. Plug it in, boss.
Oh,
That's not what I was saying.
Isn't it?
No.
But would you?
It's disgusting.
If I really wanted to?
No,
Okay.
absolutely not. I mean, it would the other way around, maybe.
What if I made it clear that your job depended on it?
I go terrestrial.
Does that mean the mouth?
No.
I didn't know.
Radio.
I thought we
yeah.
were doing slangs. I didn't.
No.
I didn't realize. Well, still, good to know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad we got that out of the way. Do you feel, Cathy, like you'll be able to increase your social interactions a little bit now?
I think only time will tell.
Or has this made it worse?
It's definitely brought a lot of stuff to light.
Right. Did you realize...
I don't know that I got much advice from you.
I gave you great advice. You go out and you make a thing about the fact that, we made fun of the ecto-cooler incident. And call it the ecto-cooler incident. say, guys, you'll never believe it. On the podcast this week, we made fun of the ecto-cooler incident. And then everybody go, oh, what a great time that was. And now we're all equals again.
I think it'll be more of like, oh, you're still talking about that?
Right. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Remember I didn't know what ecto-cooler was? You don't know what ecto-cooler is? No. I know, but from before. What are you talking about? She said she didn't know what ecto-cooler was because she wanted the conversation to end. But
Did it end?
Well, yeah, but she knew what it was. And then it became a thing where it's like, Cathy doesn't know what ecto-cooler is?
Oh, so that's like a running joke?
Well, I got a text saying, you got to educate your girl. She doesn't know what ecto-cooler is.
Oh.
Did you know I had gotten a text?
No.
So you didn't know it was that much of a thing?
Yeah.
That's great.
No, I mean, like, I knew at the time that it was a thing.
Did you got made fun of?
I mean, I knew that Corey, I was like, oh, he's going to make fun of this in the future.
Right.
But that's just, yeah.
And he should.
Yeah.
He should. I think he's got every right to. And if you want to make fun of Cathy Kelley, you can follow her on Twitter at Catherine Kelley.
Yay.
Have you hardened to negative Twitter feedback anymore?
A little bit. Like one of the tweets that I got recently, I just found it hilarious. I think I told you about this earlier of, hey, Cathy, I think you're great. I also have some advice that maybe when you're on camera, you show less teeth and not be as excited. I was like, oh, that is excellent advice.
But,
are you like a professional director?
Yeah.
That is so great.
But the key is they think you're great.
Yeah.
Compliment. Check.
Oh, I also loved, I just got tagged in a photo. I hated her at first, but now I love her.
Do you understand that is like the name of my book? That's the life of Sam Roberts. Adrian, you remember the first few months of the show, every single phone call was, I used to hate on you, but you've really grown on me. All of them. You know what does that? Cancer. Grows on you like that. That's exactly.
That's a good movie.
That's Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah.
Did you see on Netflix? I haven't watched it yet. Maybe we should watch it as a project for this show.
Yeah.
There's a Kindergarten Cop 2.
What?
Speaking of sequels and remakes.
I remember that.
It doesn't have Arnold, does it?
No, it has Dolph Lundgren.
Lundgren?
Is that what his name is?
Lundgren.
Yeah, Lundgren. Dolph Lundgren.
Well, I mean, he's got the acting chops to pull off that sort of role.
Because Arnold is really one of the great actors of our time.
One of the all-time thespians.
I think so.
Yeah.
We should have a movie club. Like, instead of a book club, a movie club.
We could have...
Not just like an audio bit?
What are you talking about, audio? No, like actually a club. Where it would be where we watched movies and talked about them.
I used to do that in, like, class.
Yeah. Well,
we should watch...
Well, Adrian, luckily, don't worry. I see the scowl on your face. Good news for you. You're not invited.
All right.
Yeah. Don't worry about that. It's called the No Adrian's Club.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah. We could.
Can we watch this movie called Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters, parentheses, 2016. Yeah. That's the one. We could. I'd be interested in starting a movie club segment. You can tweet us at NotSam and at Catherine Kelley.
Let us know what the first selection should be.
Yeah. Like, if you think that we should all, as a group, watch Kindergarten Cop 2. Because that's what it has to be. It has to be movies like that.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense to just be like, well, I watched, Amadeus this weekend. And, like, shut up. Who
Amadeus.
cares? Right. Who wants to hear about it? Kindergarten Cop 2, though? Plus, hopefully, we can have enough influence with this show that we see Netflix sees a spike in Kindergarten Cop 2 watching, and they're like, oh, we really were onto something with this one. Bunch of morons. All right, that's it for the show this week. Remember to listen to Sam Roberts' show every single night on Sirius XM, XM 103, Sirius 206, 9 p.m. Eastern. You can also hear this podcast, Sam and Cathy, every Monday on iTunes, SoundCloud, and notsam.com. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you leave a review. Make sure you follow everybody on Twitter.
Hear about all the Samiversary stuff.
Right. We have a big live show coming up on Sirius XM. And, of course, you can watch all of Cathy Kelley's exploits on the WWE Network. What are you scoffing at? You're just like, yeah, that chick sucks. Toothy broad.
I used to hate her, but now I love her.
Yeah. I just wish she wasn't so excited. We'll see you next week, everybody. Goodbye.